So hi, my name is Kara and I have Chiari. And that sounds so funny to say. So Chiari is a condition of the brain, and it, basically people are born with it. The majority of people are born with it, and I more than likely was, because there are a lot of things that just didn't seem right when I was a kid, like growing up and stuff, that affected me, and I'm like, oh wow. So anyways, so what Chiari really is, it's basically where someone's brain is, or it is where someone's brain is coming out of their skull, at the base of their skull, going into their spinal canal. And so different people, there are different types of Chiari. I'm more educated on type 1, that's what I have. And so anyways, so there is 8 millimeters of my brain, my cerebellum, coming out of my skull and going down my neck, into the area it's not supposed to. It's supposed to stay in my skull. And so with that, there has been fluid blockage, and so fluid is supposed to flow through your spine into your brain, all the jazz, it's supposed to do all that good stuff, and mine is not, so yay. And so because of that, I have developed a condition called syringomyelia, and syringomyelia is whenever the fluid is not flowing properly because of more than likely Chiari. It develops a fluid little thing, a jig. It's called a syrinx, and it's basically like a cyst, but I hate that word, so we're gonna say syrinx. But I just wanted to give you that word just so you kind of knew a little bit more about what a syrinx is, because I had never heard of it before until last year. So anyways, so right here in my neck, in my spinal cord, I have a syrinx from the fluid blockage, and it's about 3 millimeters, so that's it's really tiny. It's not tiny, but it's also not ginormous. It's not the size of a golf ball. It's not a tumor or anything. What it is just basically because the fluid is not flowing properly. That's just some fluid that's kind of clumped together. So what needs to be done is I have to have Chiari Malformation decompression surgery in May of 2021, and so my symptoms will go away. So my story, a lot of my symptoms have risen in the past 5 years. So about 5 years ago, I started having breathing issues, and my mom took me to the emergency room several times, and we were just why why can't she breathe, why can't I breathe? And it was basically I could breathe, and I knew I could breathe. Everything was fine with my oxygen. I knew I could breathe, but I also felt I really felt like I couldn't. I felt like I could not get enough air into my lungs properly. I could not take a good breath. When you breathe, it feels good. It just felt like there was just something blocking. It felt like there was something blocking. I just couldn't get the proper amount of oxygen to my lungs. And so with brain issues, they normally have an effect on stuff like that. A lot of people with Chiari will say that they feel like they're itching. They feel like their body's itching. And I have a lot of inner ear itching, which I will not go into depth about, but it feels like there's teeny tiny little men running around in there with feathers, just, it's crazy. It's so deep in my ear, and I'm what is going on? But I've always had ear issues. I have a lot of hearing loss, and I have a lot of memory issues. But back to the ear thing, sorry, I have ADD, or also I may not have ADD. It could be the Chiari. I don't know. I learn something new every day. This is just something that this is just like kind of a documentation of where I'm at right now with this, what I know, and what my future holds. And then, so in July, I think it was about July of 2019, I noticed 2 knots pop up on the back of my head, like back here, you know. And I was just like it was as if I had like fallen and hit my head or something. Like, it was a knot like that. But I knew that I had not hit my head, and because 1, I would more than likely remember it, and 2, because it was two knots side by side. And I was like, okay, if I would have fallen, it would have been like 1 big knot, or just 1 knot. Like, it wouldn't have been 2. And so, like, I was like, that doesn't make sense. What is wrong with me? And so, like, first thing I think is, don't think about what you want to think about or what you don't want to think about. You're just overreacting. It's nothing. But my second thought was, you have cancer. Because I was like, what is going on? And so I mentioned it to my boss at the time. And I don't know why. I did. But I did. And she says, oh, that's just your lymph nodes. It's just your lymph nodes. That's fine. That goes away. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so, like, here I am. I'm a college student. And I'm, like, honestly, I was like, I think I accepted it because I was like, I have so much on me right now. Like, I have so much to deal with that, like, I was working a nearly full-time job and in retail. And I was going to school full time. And so I was just like, okay, I can't handle this right now. I just cannot. So, but that didn't stop the pain from coming. So after that, like, I had a really bad headache. And then that's whenever, because I had a bad headache and I felt the knots. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, my head hurts so bad. And then I felt the knots. I was like, whoa, what? It was pretty much every month after that I started having really bad migraines. And I call them migraines because I've had headaches throughout my life. And they've never felt like this. These migraines were something that I had never, like, felt in my life. Like, they were scarily painful. And I just remember, like I'm so tough, like, as far as, like, physical pain. And I don't cry. Like, I don't cry at pain. Like, literally every time I've been in the hospital, or not in the hospital, but, like, I had my tonsils out and I had my wisdom teeth out and blah, blah, blah. And, like, they'll say, like, okay, what is your pain level? And I've never, like, said anything over, like, a 7. Like, I'm, like, just I have a high pain tolerance is what I'm saying. And so when I started getting these migraines, like, I would cry myself to sleep. Hey, this is not normal. But I let everyone tell me, oh, it's stress. Oh, it's like you're going to school full time and, like, you're looking at computers a lot because, you know, you're in college and, like, you're constantly having to do work on your computer, and it's just from doing that. It's just from, you know, looking at the screen. It's just from stress. It's just from not eating right. It's just from a vitamin deficiency. It's just from blah, 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 blah. Everything in the book. And I said, okay, that makes sense. I didn't go to a doctor specifically for this until September of 2020, because my headaches got so bad, and it was, like, now becoming about 3 times a month. I had no idea what was starting it, still had no idea. And I was now having, like, dizzy spells, and it felt like pressure in my head. Like, it just was really not fun. And so I would get dizzy spells and just feel faint. And so I went to the doctor, and she said, oh, well, you have an ear infection. So I was like, oh, okay, that's what's causing the dizziness. Then a couple weeks later, I got sent to a neurologist. It's actually like a month later because it's so hard to get an appointment. And I saw her, and she was so patient with me. I told her everything about how my headaches felt. And, like, I really felt heard. Like, my parents had listened to me, or my mom had listened to me, and, you know, like, realized the amount of pain I was in. Like, she witnessed it, because, like, this is just, like, not normal for me. Like, I would literally be, like, They were so bad, I would be to a point where like I really just wanted to scream. And like I knew that like obviously if you scream when your head's hurting, your head's gonna hurt worse. Like that doesn't make sense, but it was just a pain like that, and I had never felt pain like that. So I go to see this neurologist, and she was so patient with me, and she was like, you know, listen to me like talk about all the like crazy ways that this like I felt, you know, like how my headaches made me feel. And she was like, okay, well, I think I know what it is, but I don't want to diagnose you without an MRI. So about a couple weeks later, no, a month later, it was on Friday the 13th. It was in November. It was the second Friday the 13th in 2020. I remember that. And a lot of people were like, wow, I really hope this Friday the 13th is not like the last one we had. So yeah, I was anxious. I had never had an MRI before, and I got in there and I was like, oh my gosh, like the little bulbs are gonna like burst and like a fire is gonna start and burn my face. Like I don't know. After the MRI, they called me back and they were like, okay, you need to come in for your appointment. And I was like, I didn't think that I made another appointment. And they said, well, the neurologist has made you an appointment. They want to talk to you about your MRI results. I go in and my neurologist tells me, she's like, so you have this condition called Chiari Malformation, and like she just threw all these big words. She was like, you have syringomyelia, and like there's an inflamed artery, and blah 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 blah. And me and my mom are like, because like we were not expecting anything like that. Like I don't know what we thought when she said, okay, yeah, like she wanted you to come in for your MRI results. I mean, I just thought like, okay, like she's just gonna tell me it's nothing. And so because I had been used to people telling me, this is nothing, you're just stressed, you're just, you know, like not eating right, you're just blah blah blah, like this is nothing. All my life it's just been nothing, and I've put off like a lot of the feelings that I've felt because I'm like, oh, like I shouldn't feel that way, oh, like I need to feel this way, or oh, that's not right, you know, blah blah blah. And she did explain it in full, but we just like we're not able to grasp it. And I just remember thinking, I was like, I will never be able to remember all of these words. I literally walked out of there and I was like, I have no idea what she just said. And it didn't hit me like the importance of what just happened, like how big of a deal this was, until I got, honestly, till like the next morning. I just like was in shock the whole rest of the day, and I was in shock the whole ride home. And it was just like I didn't allow myself to have time to process because I kept myself busy. She was like, okay, I'm gonna send you to the neurosurgeon in this hospital. And so we're just like, wait, what is that? Isn't that like brain surgery? Like what? And she was like, yeah, like, and so we're just like, oh, okay. And so I kept telling myself, I was like, okay, when I see this neurosurgeon, they're gonna tell me, oh, you don't need surgery. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, you're in pain, but we'll give you something to manage that. But all I could think was, I don't want to just manage the pain. I don't want to be on medication for the rest of my life to control something that's going to continue to get worse. I don't want to just kind of, I don't know what the word is. Like, I don't want to just like basically put just like a temporary fix on it. I want something that's going to permanently fix it. Yeah, I don't want brain surgery. I don't want to have to go through that. But I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with the pain, but I also don't want something to be wrong with my brain. So she put me in with the neurosurgeon, and she was like, okay, I'm going to see you again in 4 weeks. And we were like, whoa, that's like so quick. Like usually it takes you forever to get in with a surgeon. And so anyways, we go. He says, you need surgery. He said, you know, with COVID going on, it's probably best that you wait. And he said, you know, we don't have any ICU beds available for you. We don't have anything. COVID is so bad that like we don't have any ICU beds. And, you know, I found out later on my surgeon is doing surgeries on COVID patients who are having like brain bleeds and stuff. And so it's just really bad right now. And I'm very, very lucky that I was able to go to a neurologist that heard me the first time and that took me seriously. I'm lucky that my mom took me seriously enough to take me there in the first place, because I'm not sure if I would have, said, okay, I really need to go to the doctor. You know, I mean, all that time I had not, gone until I started getting really, really dizzy and just being in a lot of pain. And so I'm lucky that my mom taught me into that, and I'm lucky for my neurologist, and I'm lucky for my neurosurgeon who told me, about it and about, how the surgery is going to go, and tried to comfort me as best he could. And I'm lucky that it was found so early. I'm 22, and I know about 3 women that have Chiari, that, had the syrinx, didn't have the syrinx, had the surgery, didn't have the surgery. And all of them found out in their like mid to late 30s. And so they said, I wish that I would have found it out when I was your age. I wish I would have known then so I could have lived this amount of years without pain. I would have known what was wrong. I wouldn't have been telling myself, oh, I'm crazy. Like, this is all in my head. It is in my head, but it's not like mentally there. I'm not making it up. Like, it's in my brain. Yeah, I'm just blessed, and I'm grateful for my friends and family that are here for me during this time, and I get to finish my degree. I'm getting my bachelor's, so I'll get to finish my degree, and then right after that, I will have brain surgery. I never thought I would say those words. I'm just, kind of documenting this because I want to be able to look back on it, and because I also have an assignment. Hi, Dr. Davies. And so, yes, but I've enjoyed this, and I've enjoyed this class. I'm taking a social media class with Dr. Davies. And so this is just something that I really, really love doing. I've had so many people in my life push me in the right direction, and I'm so lucky. I've had people push me in the wrong direction as well, but I am blessed. Like, God has truly saved me from a lot of bad things, and a lot of good people have been in my life and have pushed me or encouraged me to do really, really good things with my life. So I'm very lucky. I also have a journey of my past year of 2020 on my blog, and so I will put that in the description. And I have 2 blogs. I have 2 blogs actually, but I'll put both of them down there, and I'll put which one is which. But yes, so go and read my blog. I'm going to continue to talk about this journey. I don't know if I'm going to make any more videos about it. I probably will make 1 or 2 more, just through this journey. There's, it's not over. Just because I found out, it's not over. I am on medication, but the medication's causing its own issues. And so, yes. And so, with that, I am signing off. Goodbye. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.